And that music can only mean one thing. It is that time of the week when Mr. Parry puts on his TV reviewer's hat and tells us what the big shows are to watch, what the shows are not to watch, and sometimes a little surprise thrown in from the past, vintage television. I have to say, Mr. Parry, that there's been some criticism over the last couple of weeks.
Why?
That you might not quite have been watching as much TV as a TV reviewer should.
Why? Who said that?
Well, some people on Twitter have been saying, maybe he should watch a bit more TV before he starts talking about some of the shows. I know how busy you are, having just explained how you spend like 6 hours trying to book a railway ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not surprising you've got no time to watch TV.
Well, that's right.
Tell us what you've been watching this week.
Right, OK. I saw the John Bishop show on Saturday night. It was brilliant. He's brilliant, John Bishop. I met him at a job I was doing at the BBC a few weeks ago, and he was in great shape.
Was he?
In great form. He's a great guy. And, in fact, we nearly had a duet together on the piano, which is owned by Sir Elton John.
Oh, right, OK.
Which he donated to the BBC and put in the foyer of BBC Radio 2.
And was he there kind of doing a show or something like that?
Yeah, he was doing some sort of a show, and I was there, and of course...
You didn't think of inviting you on, then?
Well, I can't really disclose what sort of conversations I was having with John, of course, because he is one of the country's leading comedians now, and he's got this stand-up show. It's called The John Bishop Show, OK? Yeah. It's described as an evening of entertainment. And this particular one that was on last Saturday was at the Hackney Empire Theatre in London. So I looked at it and I thought, that could be a venue that the old MG and I might do one of these days, you know what I mean?
So is it just him kind of standing
just him standing there telling great jokes, and not just great jokes, but I mean, doing really what I specialise in. Telling the story.
Monopolising the show.
No, you fool. But telling the audience about life as it unfolds, in a nitty-gritty, bitty sort of way, and...
endearingly kind of...
Yes. Endearingly humorous and...
Telling stories.
And observations on life and people's excesses and sometimes people's non-excesses and people's foibles and fears.
Right.
And
so is it live then, or it's been recorded at another time, I suppose, has it?
Yeah, it's been recorded. Yeah, been recorded.
And it doesn't have guests? Does he? Because I've seen Michael McIntyre doing a similar show.
Yeah, there were a couple of guests.
But he tends to sort of bring people on as well.
There were a couple of guests, and that was good. That was great. Now, listen, I'll tell you what was on at the same time. Right. No, it wasn't at the same time. It was on the same night, I think. Maybe I skyboxed it and had a look later. Casualty.
Oh, yeah.
Now, people, does people still watch Casualty?
Well, I do.
Because there's one great character in Casualty, and that is Charlie, OK? And Charlie's one of life's losers.
Is he?
Oh, yeah. I've got so much empathy for him. He is a life loser.
You've got empathy for him?
Yeah.
I thought you had no empathy for losers.
Have you, sorry, have I not told you about my new mantra in life?
Well, you have.
My new mantra in life is this, OK? Those who are first shall be the last, and those who are last shall be the first, OK? And
well,
I think
you said
Charlie,
that before, but then you said you didn't care if people had their houses knocked down to build a new runway.
I think Charlie falls into this category, OK? I'll tell you what's happened to Charlie over the years. Done a bit of research on him, OK?
Right.
He got shot in the chest, by a mad patient, right? Then he was nearly drowned when he went off
What is he, a paramedic or something?
He's a nurse.
OK.
In fact, I think he's kind of head access nurse or something like that. Head admissions nurse or something.
OK. In the A&E.
Yeah, in the A&E, that's right, yeah. But he does stick his nose in where it's not wanted. He's one of these kind of... he's a barrack room politician, you know what I mean? He's
been on for years as well, hasn't it?
It's been on for years and years, and he's aged in it. Now, the reason I like Charlie is because the first time we ever came across him, he was, in fact, a minor hitman in the gang of... the Long Good Friday?
Yes.
He was a minor hitman in the gang...
Oh, was he?
Run by Bob.
Right. Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins.
When you say Bob and nod your head,
yes.
I have no idea what you mean.
Well, you knew what I meant because I said Long Good Friday.
But when you nod your head, I presume you mean me to fill out the empty name.
No. I'm just encouraging you to get involved in the conversation if you wish.
Thank you very much.
And if you remember, he went to see Bob Hoskins on Bob Hoskins' boat moored on the Thames.
Right.
And when he got on board, Bob Hoskins found that this guy had been treacherous, so he smashed a whiskey bottle, jammed it in his throat and killed him.
Yes.
And wrapped him in a carpet.
And that was the end of him.
And two other henchmen came round, took him away and buried him somewhere, and Bob Hoskins went in the shower.
Right.
But I think one
So
mistake...
he's now turned up on Casualty?
Yeah, exactly. But I think one mistake, his real name, by the way... And I've never forgotten it because it's the same name as a terrific racing pundit who was a friend of the station for years and years. Go on, tell me.
Who?
Excuse me, go on. Who was the great racing
pundit?
pundit?
You're talking about?
Tomo, what was his name?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Derek Thompson.
Derek Thompson, yeah.
That's the same name as Charlie in Casualty.
Okay.
How about that? What a terrific coincidence.
How extraordinary.
Yeah.
So, have you watched Casualty for many years? For a long
20
time?
years probably.
Because I used to watch it when it was sort of on when my older kids were quite young, because I used to quite like it. But I haven't seen it for probably,
well, you see,
18 years.
You're not a TV reviewer, mate, and I am. You've got to keep in touch with these things, okay? So, and the other thing, Charlie...
So what happened in the show that you watched then? What happened to
hang on. In the Long Good Friday, Charlie propositioned Helen Mirren in the lift as well.
Yeah, well, we're not talking about Long Good Friday.
No, well, it's a great film.
He's already been killed off.
Yeah, he's been killed off, yeah. Right, so what happens in Casualty is, first of all, he got shot by a mad patient. Then he nearly drowned, right? Hang on.
Just over the same episode?
Yeah, no, okay. This is over the years. Then he nearly drowned when he went on a bender because he found the pressure working on top of him, fell in a canal. Then he suffered a heart attack. Then he had a pulmonary embolism, right?
Goodness me.
That's a blood clot in the back of your head.
Right.
In fact, a mate of mine died from that. He came out of the shower, he was standing in the kitchen with his girlfriend who was cooking the spaghetti bolognese, and he had a large glass of whiskey in one hand and a cigarette in the other, and he said, "How's the spaghetti going?" When she turned around to tell him, he was dead.
Yeah.
He fell backwards in the kitchen on the floor.
Shocking.
Yeah, it was shocking, absolutely, yeah. So anyway... what was I talking about?
You're talking about Casualty.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So, anyway, he then, in another episode, lost his job because he started beating up a patient. A patient got a bit mouthy, and started complaining about lack of treatment and all that. So Charlie, got stuck in, gave him one. And
he sounds like a fairly unsavoury character.
Well, he could be, yeah.
Which is probably why you've got some sympathy for him.
Yeah, exactly. Rather surprisingly, the National Health Service, who never seem to sack anybody, and they've got 1 million people working for them. Right. In fact, they're the biggest employer in the world after the
Red Army.
The Chinese Red Army and the Indian Railway Service, okay? Biggest employer in the world. Just imagine what that bill costs to employ those people. And I reckon about 1/3 of the National Health Service people who are not productive on the front line, not nurses and doctors.
You mean all the managers?
I mean all the managers, all the pen pushers.
Well, this is a fictional TV drama, though, isn't it?
All the people who devise all these systems so that when you're desperately ill, you're more worried about paying £18 to park your car for a day down in the car park near the hospital than you are in whether you're going to get any treatment to save you from dying. Right. Which is what hospitals are for, to try and save you from dying. Hospitals are not.
Why are you shouting?
Well, because I get outraged by hospitals trying to raise money from the sick and the dying. Right. £18 a day to park your car. If your neighbours turn up, that costs another 18 quid. And if it runs out, you've got to run downstairs. Instead of being at the bedside of the sick and the ill, you've got to be filling machines full of coins. Now then, getting
back to... So what
happens
at the end of Casualty, then?
Well, hang on.
They all run out to the car park to feed the meter.
No, I'm getting to that. Anyway, so he gets reinstated after beating up a patient, it was called a brawl, actually, not beating up. And then he helped a friend to commit suicide because Charlie's a bit of a revolutionary. He believes in sending people to Dignitas clinics and all that.
Okay.
So he helps his mate to commit suicide. His wife leaves him.
It's a very busy episode, this, isn't it?
No, it wasn't one episode. This is the history of Charlie, which I researched in order to be able to tell you about the Casualty programme. Right. He's also got a son who's a heroin addict, so he's one of life's losers, Nothing seems to work out for him. But anyway, in this particular episode...
what happens to him in this particular episode,
I'm just trying to read my notes here. He's... well, he goes about his business and sorts out a few problems. It wasn't an extraordinary episode, but it was an episode of Casualty.
Okay, so you enjoyed that then?
Yeah, it was great,
Will you be watching any more of them?
I might watch one next week.
Okay.
There was another great programme, actually. I forgot what it was called, but it was really riveting.
Was it?
And it was about a woman who's a terrorist. And, here, it's called Odyssey. And, I'll tell you the one was Anna Friel.
Anna Friel, yeah, I like Anna Friel, yeah.
Anna Friel was in EastEnders. Wasn't she famous for the first woman to indulge in a lesbian kiss on television?
She was, I think,
of all time. Well, she was in one called Odyssey, right? Yeah. And she's like a rebel sort of... well, she's a kind of undercover agent. Okay. People think that she's a terrorist, but she's not, I don't think. I don't think she is. But, I mean...
You don't think she is?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's
is it set in this country?
No, it's set in the Middle East, and there's a big government cover-up, okay? A shady operation. There's an ex-US attorney involved who, who's a sort of do-gooder and all that kind of stuff. But, what's the problem?
I'm not getting the gist of any
of this, really. Anna Friel. Yeah, well, it's a US thriller, and she's English, so she didn't actually fit in all that well, to be honest. But,
she's been living over there for a while.
Yeah, that's right. And she's with an isolated military team who stumble upon, a big secret. It unfolds.
Are these your notes you're reading?
No, yeah, well, sort of, yeah.
Is that what you write down?
Yeah, exactly,
Just tell me that again.
And I tell you what, the whole programme, this is why it's called Odyssey, right? The whole plot was inspired by the fantastic ancient Greek story, Homer's Odyssey.
The fantastic ancient Greek story. Homer's Odyssey.
Yeah, Homer's Odyssey was that magnificent Greek manuscript written by Homer.
I didn't know that was about terrorists.
No, it wasn't. It was about a lesson in life, about subterfuge, treachery.
Was it?
How people let you down, all that kind of stuff, and it's all based on that. So I thought it was a brilliant analogy to write this and get Anna Friel looking like a terrorist, explaining the ancient Greek Homer's Odyssey manuscript, which is what it's all about.
Excellent.
I don't know why you're laughing.
So you'd recommend that then?
You asked me to get more specific about the TV review, and I have done. I've told you loads of detail.
I think you have.
Loads of detail, okay?
You've put an awful lot of detail
Thank
into
you.
that.
I watch Coronation Street, of course, because I always watch that.
Fires.
But it's getting really silly, to be honest. It's getting a bit daft, Coronation Street. Honestly, I'm not sure what it's all about. People running allotments and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, there you go. So there you go. That's the TV breakdown for this week. I hope all of you whingers and moaners who were sending messages to old MG last week that you didn't think my what do you call this, the TV review was detailed enough. Well, you got plenty of detailed information now, so stick that in your pipe and smoke it, people, okay?